Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch AM from Graham. We've got several big stories we're following for you today, beginning with the aftermath of the tragic school shooting and the 18-year-old man behind it. The online post from the Texas gunman before his attack on an elementary school full of young children.
The second post was, "I shot my grandmother." The third post, maybe less than 15 minutes before arriving at the school, was, "I'm going to shoot an elementary school."
We'll take a look at the victims of his deadly rampage and how churches and ministries are helping the devastated town of Uvalde. Pfizer CEO says the company has created a pill that includes a wireless chip to help you with your medications. But could another pill be developed that could track your activities? Financial forecasters expect inflation will be with us into next year, with one expert telling CBN News he expects it to go higher.
We're running inflation about 8.5% now. Come the summer, we're looking at a 10% inflation rate, mostly because we're about to have a crisis with food.
So will the president's plan to raise taxes on the wealthy Americans work? And polling numbers show fewer and fewer in the U.S. hold a biblical worldview.
They don't believe the Bible is reliable or true or relevant to their lives. They don't have the same view of God as is given to us in the Bible.
But Christian leaders say there is hope to bring faith back to Americans. Those stories and more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We began in Uvalde, Texas, where churches and ministries are helping the community in its grief after that tragic school shooting. Investigators have learned more about the 18-year-old gunman who killed 19 school children and 2 teachers. Police say the shooter posted his plan on Facebook shortly before he went on that rampage. Now we're learning more about the attack and the precious victims murdered in that classroom. George Thomas has our report.
We need thee every hour, most gracious Lord.
Shock, horror, disbelief. Residents of Uvalde, Texas, joining a prayer vigil Wednesday evening to remember victims of this horrific massacre.
My heart was broken today. We're a small community, and we'll need your prayers to get us through this.
Authorities say the suspect, Salvador Ramos, legally purchased 2 AR-15 style rifles days after his 18th birthday. Both weapons used to mercilessly gun down 19 kids and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School.
It's honestly just so sick and disgusting to have the intent to kill, to go to a little kid's school and wish them harm. I mean, they're babies.
The carnage beginning when he shot his grandmother and stole her truck. The grandmother called the police. Ramos posted 3 private messages on Facebook detailing his plan of attack.
The second post was, "I shot my grandmother." The third post, maybe less than 15 minutes before arriving at the school, was, "I'm going to shoot an elementary school."
Police say Ramos charged into one of the classrooms, locked the door behind him, and started killing.
We just hear all kinds of gunshots going off, like nonstop.
All 21 victims murdered inside that classroom, the horror lasting 40 minutes before Ramos was killed by police. Wearing a T-shirt that says, "Because he lives, I can face tomorrow," Sharia Arizmendi is trying to stay strong for her family. Sharia is the aunt of 10-year-old victim, Ellie Garcia.
She was very happy and very outgoing. Loved to dance and sing and play sports.
Among those also killed, Alexandria Lexi Rubio, the 10-year-old daughter of a deputy with the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office, who responded to the shooting. On Tuesday, Lexi's parents were there for her honor roll ceremony. 30 minutes after snapping this picture, the gunman opened fire. 4th grade special education teacher Eva Mireles was in that room with Lexi. Audrey Garcia's daughter was a former student.
Miss Mireles, that kind of teaching, that hands-on, doing whatever she could do to help Gabby I mean, that's the kind of thing she did every day.
Churches in and around Uvalde have opened their doors to the grieving community.
I want you to know that we love you.
Nathan Lorick of the Southern Baptist Convention of Texas telling CBN's Faith Nation they're sending ministers to Uvalde.
We have deployed some staff members and chaplains. We have a disaster relief feeding unit on the ground.
Billy Graham Rapid Response Team chaplains have also deployed to offer comfort and counsel to the families and other residents. George Thomas, CBN News.
Politics has quickly become a factor in this tragedy. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's news conference on the shooting Wednesday was interrupted by the Democratic candidate for governor, Beto O'Rourke, who called the carnage predictable.
This 18-year-old who just turned 18 bought an AR-15 and took it into an elementary school and shot kids in the face and killed them. Why are we letting this happen in this country? Why is this happening in this state? Year after year, city after city. This is on all of us if we do not do something, and I am going to do something.
O'Rourke was escorted out of the news conference with the mayor of Uvalde shouting profanity. Turning now to Washington, after the shooting, politicians quickly began talking about how to address gun violence. The democratically controlled House recently passed bills that would expand the waiting period for gun buyers and require background checks for sales at gun shows. But the Senate is expected to block them as Republicans argue they aren't the answer.
That doesn't work. It's not effective. It doesn't prevent crime. We know what does prevent crime, which is going after felons and fugitives and those with serious mental illness, arresting them, prosecuting them when they try to illegally buy firearms.
With the issue of gun control now back in the spotlight, some support so-called red flag laws aimed at identifying someone believed to be potentially dangerous. Those laws would also open the doors to confiscate weapons or block gun purchases. Gun rights advocates argue infringement on constitutional rights and will lead to punishment of law-abiding people. Others disagree, and there is support for such laws in the Senate.
That red flag law, we know those things work, and we can prevent this from happening.
But Texas Governor Greg Abbott says there was no known mental health history of this gunman. In a sign of the times, the CEO of pharmaceutical giant Pfizer says the company has created an ingestible pill with a microchip that sends a wireless signal to authorities after the pill is swallowed. That is according to tech startups. Speaking at this week's World Economic Forum being held in Davos, Switzerland, the Pfizer CEO explained Pfizer's new invention.
It is basically a biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
But could such a wireless pill be used by authorities to also track your activities and even measure your carbon footprint? One tech executive says that is being developed. You can find out what he said and more on this story at CBNNews.com. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has signed into law the nation's strongest ban on abortion, making the state the first in the nation to essentially make abortion unavailable. State lawmakers approved the ban, enforced by civil lawsuits rather than criminal prosecution, similar to a Texas law that passed last year. The law takes effect immediately upon Stitt's signature. The only exceptions are to save the life of a pregnant woman or if the pregnancy is the result of rape or incest that has been reported to law enforcement. Abortion providers have said they will stop performing the procedure as soon as the bill is signed. Turning now to the Middle East, where we are going to take you inside Iran, where a new wave of protest against the Islamic government has shaken the country. Protesters at first took to the streets because of an overnight price hike for food, as the Iranian government cut subsidies for flour and wheat. That decision sent prices soaring by a reported 300% and immediately sparked unrest. But it soon turned into anger against the government, with chants of death to the dictator once again crescendoing across the country.
The people of Iran are chanting for the overthrow of the Islamic Republic and the Khamenei dictatorship. It's very clear that Iranians do not want this regime ruling over them.
The protests have spread across the country into many cities, including the capital of Tehran. Unofficial reports say security forces have killed at least 6 people and arrested hundreds. The same sources also say the number of arrested are growing. Coming up, a sobering poll out about religion in America. Fewer and fewer people have a biblical worldview, and the numbers get worse among younger people. But there is hope to turn things around. We're going to hear about that when we come back. .67% of American parents with pre-teenagers identify as Christians. Of that number, only 2% possess a biblical worldview. Brody Carter brings us the details on a new study that should be a wake-up call for the church.
Most of the parents of young children in America today, if they were to die today, probably would not wind up in heaven.
It's a bold statement stemming from a study led by esteemed Christian researcher Dr. George Barna. It suggests American parents are experiencing a dilemma.
Most people die with the same worldview, in essence, that they had at the age of 13.
That's why Barna is concerned in stressing the importance of sharing a Christian worldview with children. The study found while 67% of American parents with preteens identify as Christian, only 2% actually possess a biblical worldview.
They don't believe the Bible is reliable or true or relevant to their lives. They don't have the same view of God as is given to us in the Bible.
I mean, it's very sobering from a Christian perspective and a Christian worldview. It's sad, yet it's not a surprise.
The numbers show only 1% of this parent group in Catholic and mainline Protestant churches have a biblical worldview, compared to just 9% in evangelical, charismatic, and non-denominational churches.
It's been on the decline for more than 25 years now, and it's getting down into the very low single digits with each succeeding adult generation.
As millennial parents become the majority, Barna worries those numbers could get worse, as they're seen as being least likely to have and share a Christian lens.
This is a generation that needs a lot of attention and a lot of help. They don't respond well to somebody saying, but the Bible says, or trying to force biblical principles upon them. What they do relate better to are conversations, non-judgmental, non-threatening conversations.
The study points to a number of reasons for this result, including no-fault divorce, secularization of news, art, and entertainment. It adds that public schools and governmental laws foster a culture where wisdom and biblical truth have little room to grow.
Really, culture's done a great job of messaging the fact that, hey, let's just live free and limitless and let's just be happy. You have the right for things for yourself. And we've created ultimately a really consumer-focused culture.
Dr. Danny Huerta with Focus on the Family is dedicated to helping families know and grow in their relationship with Jesus Christ.
This is an opportunity, a wake-up call for the church to make sure we're teaching the truth in Scripture and going back to that, to the principles and believing everything that the Word of God says is true. No one has disproved it to be wrong.
For parents who feel like they're falling short in this area, Huerta recommends to intentionally enter faith-based conversations with your kids, learn what biblical boundaries look like, and implement them. And he adds, it's going to take practice.
So a book I wrote is 7 Traits of Effective Parenting, and that's based off of research on what a parent can focus in on rather than trying to control a child or trying to take ownership of a child's behaviors. It's about influence, and that begins with you.
Does that mean that Christianity is going to go away in American culture? And to make that argument, you would have to believe that God has given up on America. And yet the reality is we have a remnant of about 15 million adults across the country who possess a biblical worldview. That's a huge remnant. So God could certainly use them to turn around this culture.
Brody Carter, CBN News.
Still ahead, inflation is the #1 political and economic issue in America today, and CBN's The Global Lane talks to an expert who says not only is more inflation on the way, so is a recession. We're going to hear his warning right after this. Economic forecasters say Wall Street investor pessimism, along with declining stock prices, may hasten an expected U.S. recession. On this week's episode of The Global Lane, Stockton University professor of finance Michael Busler says a recession cannot be avoided. Busler also believes inflation will continue to rise this summer. So what does he think of President Biden's suggestion inflation could be reduced by increasing taxes on wealthy Americans?
If you raise the taxes on the wealthy, not only won't you reduce inflation, you'll actually make it worse. Now, why do I say that? Because they have less money to save and invest. That's less capital going into capital markets. We already have a capital shortage because the federal government is $31.5 trillion in debt. But if it leads to a capital shortage, that makes inflation worse.
Let's talk about baby formula shortages. That's a big issue. Other supply chain issues. Is this just a temporary crisis, in your opinion, or is it the new norm for America?
Well, the baby shortage problem should have never happened. The FDA had a problem with Abbott Labs production facility back in February. And here it is May, and it's not reopened yet. So obviously, that's going to create a shortage. The FDA, if there is a problem, look, we like the FDA to do their job, but let's fix it as quickly as possible. They didn't do that. We have a shortage. Now we have to go to Europe and ask them for some of theirs. They'll give some. It won't be enough to alleviate the shortage. It'll help a little bit, but it won't alleviate the shortage. Government has got to learn to be more efficient. They have a function to serve, and they're supposed to protect us, and we understand that. However, if there's a problem, it's got to be fixed within warp speed time and not dragging the supply chain out as long as it has. We have other supply chain issues, mostly due to the transportation problem in the U.S. Truck drivers and warehouses are filling up with goods that we can't deliver. We need to encourage business to make more, not add more regulations to business, not raise the corporate income tax from 21 to 28%. All of those things will tend to reduce supply and make the supply chain problems worse.
So do you think a recession is coming? How bad will it be?
I'll tell you, there's virtually a 0% chance we can avoid recession. Why do I say that? Clearly, we had a problem the beginning of 2021. The Federal Reserve should have stopped their bond buying program and stopped keeping interest rates near zero. And shockingly, they waited until March of this year to start raising interest rates. Even though they went up a quarter and then a half a point, they're still near zero, or at least 1%. That low interest rate encourages excess demand in the economy. Now, why do I say that? So look at the housing market. I said, look, builders build 100 houses, put up a sign, $200,000, 150 people show up. Why are there so many people showing up? Because people said last year, I can get a mortgage at 2.5%. And the federal government in the last 2 years handed out free money to everybody. So now I have enough money for the down payment. I wasn't going to buy a house, but this is the best time to do it. So hundreds of thousands of people went into the housing market, and housing prices went up 15, 20% a year. Same thing with cars. All of that excess demand led to car prices going sky high. And when the new car prices went sky high, the used car prices went up right after that. So the Federal Reserve waited too long. Now they're going to have to get extremely aggressive. They're going to, in my view, they're going to raise the interest rates at least 0.5% in June, at least 0.5% in July, and probably another 0.5% 4 or 5 times for the rest of the year. That will be too late to reduce the inflation problem. We're running inflation about 8.5% now. Come the summer, we're looking at a 10% inflation rate, mostly because we're about to have a crisis with food. Farmers are telling me how much money they're spending for fertilizer and diesel fuel, which is killing them, and they can't get labor, so they have to raise wages to get more people to work. So the cost to produce is going sky high for them. As a result, they're going to have to recover that in the price. Adding to that, Russia invaded Ukraine. About 25% of the world's wheat supply is made over there. We're going to end up with a shortage of food. The U.S. will complain, hey, we're paying so much more for food. Where it's really going to hurt is the less than developed countries who can't pay more for the food, and we could run into some large starvation issues. So we're looking at high inflation for the rest of this year. And if the Federal Reserve gets very aggressive with interest rates and the economy starts to stagnate, and remember the first quarter of this year, we already had negative GDP growth. If the economy starts to stagnate, we end up with the condition we haven't seen since the Carter years called stagflation, which a year ago I said that's likely to happen if the Federal Reserve doesn't act quickly. I'm worried about not just a recession, but also a recession and keeping inflation high. And that's a stagflation problem, which is extremely difficult to solve.
Well, buckle your belts. We may be in for a long haul here, for a tough one. Dr. Michael Busler, thank you for setting us straight with those insights today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary. My pleasure. Look forward to doing it again.
Also on tonight's Global Lane, did Communist China weaponize the Secret Service and FBI to silence a U.S. spokesperson for ethnic Uyghurs? And a look at the countries that may top the list of the world's worst religious freedom violators. You can see all those stories and more this evening on the Global Lane. It begins at 8:30 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News channel. You can also download the CBN News app. We'll have your Thursday Thankful right after this. Stay with us. Time now for your Thursday Thankful. I hope you'll join me in this prayer of gratitude. God, thank you. When we are at a loss for what to do, you gently remind us everything begins and ends with you. And you are deeply concerned about every area of my life, and everything that concerns me concerns you. So I trust you to move in me, with me, and through me. With this prayer, I encourage you to walk in gratitude and make this a thankful Thursday. That's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. I want to remind you, you can always get more of our news programs on the CBN News channel, as well as online at cbnnews.com. There you can find our shows at any time. We want to also let you know that you can let us know what you think about the stories you've seen today. You can email us. The address is right there at the bottom of your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you tomorrow.